What's up, big baller shot callers? Big Ken here. Welcome from the Grid to Run Sports Talk Show. Joined by my co-host and best friend Monty Brown. How you doing, brother? Super Bowl's upon us
Hey,
tomorrow.
hey,
Super
man,
Bowl weekend.
about time. Super Bowl talk, Super Bowl 59.
Yeah, Super Bowl 59 is in effect. Rematch from a couple years ago, Philadelphia Eagles and Kansas City
Oh,
Chiefs.
yeah.
Last Super Bowl was a very good game. Came down to the end, on a quote unquote a controversial call by the officials calling the defensive holding. They kind of iced the game for KC, but KC won it. That was Patrick Mahomes, like I think second ring. Now he's got three and he's going for four. So we got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah.
Like my good friend and Monty's nephew Dwayne says, we're from the grid to the rim. We talk about anything in between. So we will talk about some other subjects besides the Super Bowl 59 is going to be our main subject today, but we will touch on some other topics. A little bit of the NBA, Luka Doncic AD trade, very interesting.
Oh, boy. Still
Yeah,
shocked on that one, but
that's a shocker, right? So like I said, we're from the grid and anything in between, man. So it's anything sports. So
yeah.
um, we'll touch on a few other subjects in the NFL besides the Super Bowl. Um, head coaches have been hired and fired so far, so we'll touch on that, and we're gonna touch on the MVP for the NFL. Josh
Mhm.
Allen won the MVP. I'm personally okay with it, but there's some talk about it because I feel like all the candidates are deserving, but you can only pick one. But we'll talk
Yeah.
on like our thoughts on that about what we think about Josh Allen winning the MVP. So I guess getting started, let's talk about what we say we're talking about first, the NBA, or we said the NFL. We said the
No,
NFL head
let's
coaches.
well, the coach a couple of the coaching changes real quick. We didn't touch on those last week.
Yeah, the NFL head coaches. Yeah, that's a little bit. That's been a little bit longer than the talking. You're right. That's been going on for a
Hey, still.
while. So I know of four coaching changes. The Raiders hired Pete Carroll, the old Seattle Seahawks head coach, had a great run here,
Oh,
but the last couple of years he fizzled. They fired him. He's the oldest
yeah.
probably coach in the league, over 70 years old. He's like 72 or something, but he acts like he's my age, 50. He's
Yeah.
young, energetic, you know, very motivating. He's a big motivator. That's always been his calling sign.
Yeah.
Cowboys hired Schottenheimer, which me and you both think suspicious. We're wearing our Cowboys gear. Um, I think they could have went other directions, but we could talk about that.
Yeah.
Chicago probably had the best hire, in my opinion. We can talk about that also. But Ben Johnson, the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator, like he's a mastermind on the offensive end. He's been bucking for a head coaching position for a while, so I'm not surprised. And he got hired to. It's kind of funny because he's in the same division, so he's in the.
Yeah, that's going to make it interesting.
That's gonna make it interesting because he's not leaving the division. He's in the NFC North still. Um, and then Jacksonville hired a guy that I don't know of, a guy named Liam Cohen. I don't know where he came from. I should have looked that up more,
Mhm.
but I know the other three names, but I do not know the Liam Cohen name. So is he like
Yeah.
a
Yeah, I have
Ryman?
no clue.
Yeah, is he like he's kind of out of nowhere? So is he's like a Ryman in the rough or whatever you call it? The way what I'm trying to say, like
Yeah.
like where's this guy coming from?
Diamond in the rough. Yeah.
Diamond in the rough. There you go. I got my stuff back here. Um, so let's talk about the coaches. Let's talk about the Cowboys first, since that's our
You know
team.
what
We're both
my
wearing
favorite move
Cowboys
was?
jerseys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whew. Boy, don't get me started on that. You had Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator. We all know about what Detroit has done these past couple of seasons with that offense. My favorite hiring of them all is Aaron Glenn to the Jets.
I
Defensive
didn't mention
mind,
him.
defensive
Yeah, he did.
genius.
Yeah, that I forgot about him. Yeah,
Uh,
good on him.
was an awesome corner for the Jets. Uh, Dallas had these opportunity during their bye week, Detroit's bye week, to interview both of these guys. Didn't do it. Schottenheimer, as far as I know, as long as he's been in the league, nobody's interviewed him. The only thing he has is his name from his dad, Marty.
Yeah, exactly.
And Marty Schottenheimer's playoff record's terrible. They're like 5 and something, 5 and 20 something. I mean, it's pretty bad. So I don't get it. I don't know what Jerry Jones saw here. Like you mentioned, Diamond in the Rough. This could be the next McVay. Like I think his name's McVay from
Sean
the
McVay for
Rams.
the Rams. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he could be. I'm a Cowboy fan. I just don't see it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we have to eat. I hope I have to eat crow in a couple of years. I mean, but I just don't see it. This could be a one and done. I could, if they go 3 and whatever or 5 and whatever. This could be a one and done scenario.
Yeah.
I'm dumbfounded. I have no clue why. Bunch of good guys out there. Pete Carroll was available.
Yeah, I would have took him. Either him or
Yeah.
Colorado Buffalo's Deion Sanders is better than I think
Well,
Schottenheimer.
I like the Pete Carroll move better than the Dion
I do
move.
too. Because he's
Way
been a
better.
good
I'm
coach
like,
in the league for a while.
Pete Carroll's a winner. He's gonna take the. I mean, they're not gonna go to the Super Bowl, but that might be the most improved team next year,
Yeah.
just alone by having Pete Carroll. I just don't get it, but I don't get the move. I'm a little disappointed with it. Um, he's been with them for a while. I'll say that he's been with the offense for a while, so the offensive players know him. They know his style. They hopefully he'll change a couple of things, bring some people in there, that personnel in there. They need a running back. We all know that. Uh, he's worked with Dak for a while, so that is a plus. But head coach, yeah. Talk to me, Ken. What do you think, man? I have no idea.
I think it's typical Jerry Jones. Like you said, we don't know yet. We're just spitballing here because obviously Cowboys haven't played a single game next season. See what's going to happen, but I think it's typical Jerry Jones though because he hires guys that he thinks he can control. We know this. This has been Jerry Jones quote unquote calling sign for a while. Like he hires. He's always had questionable choices. McCarthy was probably his best choice in a long time. Better than Carrot Top that was married to someone in his family that he kept
Yeah,
that he kept around for way too long.
yeah. Dave Campo.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's typical Jerry Jones, man. He just doesn't seem to hire the right guy, and he's got his finger on things way too much, and he thinks he knows things and he doesn't, and it's just typical Jerry Jones, man. So yeah, I think it's a bad move, but we'll see. I will give Schottenheimer a chance, like anyone else in life. You want
Yeah,
to be given a chance.
yeah.
I hope it's not one and done. That's pretty rough, but if it's bad enough, I can see that. I agree. If it's like that Denver Broncos guy who was the New York Jets offensive coordinator, and whatever his name was that we're talking about last season, hopefully he's not as bad as that guy,
Oh, Salah.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh, Hackett. Yeah, 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 yeah,
He was
yeah,
Denver Broncos head coach. He got fired first year in the middle of
yeah.
the season. He didn't even last 1 year.
Oh,
That was
Salah's
the
and
first time that
49ers. Yeah,
happened. Like
yeah,
that was weird because usually they give a coach 2 or 3 years to try to rebuild the system, but he was doing some very weird things, and
yeah,
he was just an oddball. Hate to say it, no disrespect to him. He's got a family, but he obviously has a good football coaching mind because Aaron Rodgers loved him. Aaron Rodgers thinks he's the best offensive coordinator he worked with. So obviously he's got a football skill set, but the head coaching job just didn't work out for him. But um, it's an interesting hire. I think they could have gone other choices also. I was thinking Pete Carroll too. Um, yeah, I
yeah,
don't know. I don't know. But to me, it's just Jerry Jones, so we'll get off that subject. But I like the fact that you mentioned Aaron Glenn. I forgot to write that down. I didn't realize Aaron Glenn got hired for the New York Jets. He used to play there, like you said. I think it's a good hire. Um, even though the Detroit Lions defense suffered this year, they had a ton of injuries. Like he still made them play pretty well for who they had.
yes,
And
yes,
yeah, he's a good hire, man, because he didn't make any excuses. He just kind of stayed. He did what he had to do with the people he had. He played his cards and he got them to the playoffs. Fortunately, they lost their division round game, their opening game, but people didn't see that upset coming, but it happened, and but he's a good choice. Um, let's talk about Chicago Bears. Ben Johnson. I think he's the best hire out of all of them besides Aaron Glenn with the Jets, who I didn't mention. I think Ben Johnson was destined to be a head coach. So, but he's in the same division as
Yes.
we said in the
Yes.
opening. That's interesting because he's still in the NFC North playing against his old team, the Detroit Lions. So, what do you think on that, man?
Great fit. Great fit. They Chicago has the playmakers, the players for them, just like Detroit has. You have a quarterback, a good young quarterback. You have the rookie receiver. Well, he'll be a second year next year.
Oh,
He has the
Dunze.
tools in place.
Yeah, yeah,
Good tight end. Yeah, yes. I'm not. I don't know how their offensive line is, but excellent fit. That team is built for his style. Man, something we're not going to get used to seeing in Chicago with a wide open offense, and I'm looking forward to seeing that because he's going to
yeah.
open it up, man.
I
He's
think
going to
he's
open
gonna
it up
open it
and
up. Yeah.
good fit.
But like I said in our last show together, the Bears got off to a good start. They were 4-2, but then they lost that crazy game against Washington Commanders on the Hail Mary, to Josh or not Josh.
Yes.
Well, the Washington Commanders quarterback, Daniels and
Yeah.
um,
Jade Downs, huh?
Jaden Daniels. I keep on getting Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels confused. I keep on saying one name or the
Yeah.
other, but um, yeah, they lost 10 in a row after that game. Like I said last show, they were 4-2. Then they went to 4-12. I do think Caleb Williams is a good quarterback. Obviously, he didn't play as well as Jaden Daniels did to win the Rookie of the Year, which we know is coming. But uh, or maybe it already happened. I don't know, but we all know he's going to get it. But Caleb Williams still had a pretty good year. His stats were pretty good. It's just they lost a lot of
Yes.
games
For
because
rookie. Yeah.
they fell apart 10 games in a row. But his stats were good though. People don't need to forget
Yeah.
that his stats were decent for a rookie quarterback.
Yes.
They were just losing games. That was the difference. So yeah, I like this Ben Johnson. He's got Odunze. He's got the other receiver for the Carolina Panthers, who's a veteran. We know what I'm talking about. He's pretty good.
Yes. Moore. DJ Moore.
DJ Moore. He's got Clement, the tight end you mentioned. They got decent running backs, I think.
Yes.
They should have a
Yeah.
good year next year. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs or not, but I think they're good,
Yeah.
definitely going to improve. If they make the playoffs, that's just even a more of a plus. But I think they're definitely going to win some more games. And like I said, they got to a good start last year. Then all of a sudden, the wheels fell off. So and
Yeah.
they finished 5-12. Um, let's talk about the Raiders.
It'll be interesting.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Detroit losing the coaches that they lost.
Yeah,
With the
that's a great
replacements.
point. We can't forget that. You lost your offensive coordinator. How are you going to handle that? Dan Campbell has
Yeah.
obviously changed the culture in Detroit the past 3 or 4 years. I'll bet on him that he'll make something work. But it is interesting who they're going to hire and
Yeah.
how that offense is going to change because they've been one of the best offenses in the NFL the past couple of
Yeah.
years. So
Well, maybe the two of the best coordinators in the league were both on Detroit, offensive and defensive. You
yeah,
can
I
argue that,
agree.
and
I agree.
they're both gone. So, will Detroit be just as good, better, worse? Well, that'll be something to watch.
Yeah, my bet is they'll still make the playoffs, but I don't know if they'll be a number one seed.
Yeah,
But I think they'll still make it. But we'll see.
yeah,
But yeah, I think with Dan Campbell they'll make it. He's got that pedigree. He's got that toughness. But yeah,
yeah,
it is interesting
yeah,
to see how good they'll be. Um, they haven't been a number one seed in a while because the year before when they lost in the NFC Championship game, I don't think they're the number one seed. They're like the 2 or the 3, right? Like this year they were the number
yeah.
one seed and they lost. They got upset, in their opening game in the divisional round. So it'll be interesting. Um, let's talk about Pete Carroll and the Raiders, man. Anywhere he goes, I think they'll be good. But the Raiders is kind of interesting
Yes.
because being in Las Vegas past couple of years, not really sure what the Raiders got. I know they have. Well, they don't have the receiver anymore. He went back to Aaron Rodgers. Who do the
Yeah.
Raiders have? I don't know, man.
Uh, That tight end, is it Bowers? From
Oh yeah,
Georgia?
they have two tight
Yeah.
ends, back to back
Yes.
choices.
Yes. So the quarterback situation, that he's going to have to work with that. But this is Pete Carroll, who everywhere he's everything he's touched has turned to gold,
Yeah,
so
I
to speak.
agree.
Everywhere he's went. College, pro, we know what he's done with Seattle. We know what he's done with USC. So the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders, that Browns, he's going to bring it back. It may not be next year, but because they do have some work to do with that team.
Yeah, he's got
But
some
man, think
rebuilding,
about it.
but I trust Pete
Yeah,
Carroll.
but yeah, they'll be better, and I expect them to be better. I'd like to see what he can do with that team. I wish he would have gone to Dallas because they have some players in place there where he could just plug in
Yeah,
a couple of areas that they need,
Dallas is stupid.
and
Dallas is
then
dumb. Like typical Jerry Jones, like I said. Yeah, Dallas should have taken him because
yeah,
Dallas already got pieces in place. You got Micah
yeah,
Parsons on defense. You got Diggs. You got Bland. You have
yeah,
offensive players, that are set up. CD Lamb and Dak
yeah,
Prescott, and
yeah,
like, that would have been a
yeah.
great fit.
Would love to see what he could do with them, but yeah,
Um,
I'll watch him. I'm going to watch him for sure. I think he'll improve that team. He's a winner
oh,
everywhere
yeah,
he
he's been a
goes.
winner everywhere he went, and he was in the NFL for a while before he went to USC. I can't remember his whole entire coaching tree, but he was in the
Yeah.
NFL. Then he went to USC, went back to college football, then went back
Yes.
off to the NFL with the Seattle Seahawks. So yeah, Pete Carroll's got a long resume. Yeah, he's a winner, man. He's motivated. He's always positive, and
Yeah.
he just thinks of ways to get better. You kind of like a guy like that. He's not a Debbie Downer kind of guy. He's always about trying to improve.
No. Oh,
So, and he believes in competition. Like the one thing I like about Pete Carroll that he did at USC, that I think he brought to Seattle is like he don't care if you're third string or fourth string. He makes players believe. Like if you're third string, you
yeah.
have a great week of practice. He is going to put you in the game. He will reward you.
Yes. That's right.
That's one of his best strengths that I love about him at USC. Like he don't care. Like if you perform that week and you had a great practice, like I will find a way to get in the game to reward you for having a great week. That's why players believe in him and they want to play for him. He's a player's coach. So yeah, I like Pete Carroll just for that fact alone. Let's talk about this last guy, Jacksonville, Liam Cohen. We don't know what's going on. Jacksonville had a good run for a year or two, and the wheels have fallen off. And it seems I don't know about Liam
Yeah.
Cohen at all, so I don't know what we can even say about him. But I know the wheels have fallen
No.
off in Jacksonville. Not saying he's a bad fit, but I also
Folks,
don't know
any of
anything
you
about
out
this
there who
guy.
know, yeah, yeah. If there's anybody out there that can help us with this one, please do. I don't really follow Jacksonville that much outside their main players. I knew they were going to lose their coach because of the bad. They just trended down the past couple of seasons with all that talent they had on that team with
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence and everything there. So I don't know. Maybe their management team saw something in this guy. It might be a great fit. I don't know. If anybody knows anything about him, yeah, let us know. See, educate us on it. We don't know everything, as you can see.
I
So,
don't know if yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I don't know if he's from
uh,
like I
I don't
said,
know
we're
what to say.
completely uneducated. I don't know if he's from within their system or he's an outside hire or what. He might be. I'm assuming that he's from within their system, but I don't know, man. Um,
Yeah,
so I have no idea about this guy. But yeah, Jacksonville had a couple of years where they made the playoffs and they were playing some good ball with Trevor Lawrence and company, and then all of a sudden they've fallen apart. So especially this year.
yeah.
So I know nothing about this dude. Other three guys I know a little bit about, but nothing about this guy. So he's a wild card. Um, let's jump to NBA real quick. This is your team, the Los Angeles
Yes, my
Lakers, and it's
Lakers.
Luka Doncic trade and AD going to Dallas. What you as a Lakers fan, what do you think about that?
Uh, man, I love how AD plays, man. Man, love his game. When he stays healthy, top 3, 4 in the league, easy. Could have won Defensive Player of the Year last year. I think he should have won Defensive Player of the Year last year. He's great. But Lakers are looking ahead of the future. We know that LeBron, he has 2 or 3 years left at the most. The Lakers has always had that star, Kareem, Magic, Shaq, Kobe, LeBron. It's no longer LeBron's team now, man. This is Luka's team now. And Luka's great when he's healthy. And looking towards the future, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm good with it. They lost a good player, but I'll take Luka over AD. I will. No problem.
Okay. I'm moving around again, try to get my signal's still there, but I think I'm okay. But you're being a little bit blurry. I don't know if it's your end or my end. I'm assuming it's my end, but I can hear you loud and clear. It's just about the blurriness. I don't know whose signal it is, but I'm with you.
Yeah.
I am surprised. Luka Doncic is a great player, but one thing that's plagued him, and everyone talks about it, is his like being in shape. He gets a little bit sluggish and gets a little bit heavy at times. It's like he has all this talent in the world, but he doesn't prepare for the game very well, like a LeBron James being 40 years old still doing what he does. It's like he kind of takes things for granted, I guess you could say. But Luka Doncic has been playing professional basketball in Europe since like 15 years old, which a lot of European players do. So he's got a ton of talent. I mean, he's proven that his first 4 or 5 years in the NBA. I mean, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel like only like in his mid-20s. He's got a long ways to go. I think it's a good trade, I guess. I haven't watched a whole lot of NBA, but AD is a great player. Like, why do you make this trade though? Like, what's the difference between how does Luka Doncic make you better than AD? That's what I want you to. Maybe I'm not putting you on a spot, but you're a Lakers fan. How does this trade make you better with Luka than compared to AD? What makes you better with this
For
trade?
the Lakers?
The Lakers, yes.
I think right now they're not looking at that. Now they did make a move for what's his name? The center from Charlotte. Real good center from Charlotte. And they traded Dalton Connect for him, which I'll get into that in a minute. I know why they did it. But I think they're more looking for a future deal. Now, in case you didn't know, Dallas hit up LA for this trade. The general manager for Dallas said that we don't think we can win a championship with Luka. So they kept it secret. Nobody knew.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Nobody knew.
Oh,
Believe
shit.
it or not, LeBron didn't know. The coaches didn't know. And, of course, the players didn't know. So, and if they wouldn't have known, I'm sure it would have been an issue. So Dallas didn't want Luka anymore for whatever reason, that's going to be a big motivating factor for Luka.
Yeah.
His workout ethics are questionable, but you're putting him with the guy that works out better than anybody in the league, LeBron. He's going to motivate him to do that.
Right.
So I don't think we're going to be hearing about this anymore with Luka, as long as he's with LeBron, because LeBron ain't going to have it. He ain't going to have it. So looking towards the future, I'm okay with it. Will it make them better right now? No. They'll still be a playoff team. Maybe win the first round. With this center now, they have a big man that might help them even more. But does it make them better right now? No, they were better with AD. But I see what they're doing, and I'm okay with it.
Okay. That's some good thoughts. Yeah, because I was wondering that, because Dallas has a decent big man. Can't think of his name, but he's pretty good. He's not as good as AD, but he's pretty solid.
Well, what it's going to do for Dallas? AD doesn't like playing center.
Oh, he likes playing power forward. Yeah,
he likes playing the four.
Good point. Yeah,
he's going to play
center
where he
now.
wants
He's
to
play.
play.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and you got Kyrie. Oof, boy.
Yeah, that can improve them. You're right. Yeah, you have a good. That's a great point.
Yeah.
He's playing the position he wants to play. He's already got some good pieces in place that could really help Dallas. That's a good point. I
Yeah.
didn't think about that. That's
So
very true.
right now, Dallas got the better of the trade, but further on, LA got the better of the trade.
Right. I see what you're saying in the future. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Um, I see. That's interesting. All right. That's the NBA side of things. Viewers, what do you think about this trade? How surprising? How surprised are you guys? But let's talk about this NFL MVP. I don't think it's controversial, but there are some people that are out there that don't think Josh Allen deserves the MVP at all. He had guys like Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley that a lot of people think were ahead of him. Even though Josh Allen had a great season in his own right, there are some critics out there that thinking it's crazy that Josh Allen um, won this MVP award despite his best season. So what do you got on that, Monty?
I'm okay with it. I was trying to look up and see when the last running back, if I don't know if you know the last running back to win MVP.
No, I
It's
don't
been a
know. I was
while,
trying to
hasn't
look
it?
that up too, but it's been a while. It's usually
Yeah.
quarterbacks.
But I think either of these three, Lamar, Allen, Saquon, flip a coin and pick one, and I wouldn't have had a problem with either one of the three.
I
Allen had his best year. He used to be a turnover machine, and he
right.
improved that tremendously this year. I mean, he threw very few interceptions, and I don't know how many rushing touchdowns he had on the goal line. So,
Yeah.
I have no problem with it at all.
I have no problem with it either, but I mean, it's kind of like what Richard Sherman said. Obviously, there's a Homer effect. All Buffalo Bills fans are going to think he deserved it, but they're not being. They may or may not be being objective, and that's nothing against Bills fans. That's anyone for that matter. When your guy wins it, but I'm with you. Being objective, like yeah, all three of these guys could have won it. Like I said in the opening, and we talked about in pregame, there can only be one winner. This is always the case when you're talking about Heisman Trophy winner, anyone who's winning some kind of prestigious award. There can only be one guy. You have three or four finalists, and it goes to one person. So this is no different. They're all deserving, else they wouldn't be there. They were the
Yes,
finalists, and they got selected. So that's kind of like how I see it. It could go to all of them. And there's always going to be speculation why they won it and what the other person had, comparing stats and all that stuff. But I'm okay with Josh Allen winning it. But I do
yeah,
think I personally would have chose Saquon Barkley. I think
yeah. Good
he trumped.
choice.
I think he trumped all of them.
Good choice.
so
Good choice.
yeah, it would have been Saquon Barkley for me. But yeah, Josh Allen is okay. So and he did have his best year by far. So um, and Lamar Jackson's won it twice already. He could have won it for a third time. He won it last year and he won it in 2019. So he's got a couple under his belt, and this is Josh Allen's first one. So I'm okay with it. Um, let's get into some Super Bowl talk, man.
Mm, mm, boy,
Ooh, Super Bowl is tomorrow. Super Bowl 59, like we said, rematch from a couple years ago. It was a great game last time. Hopefully, it's the same thing. Hopefully, it's not a boring Super Bowl. I don't think it will be. I think there's going to be good plays offensively and defensively. I
mhm.
think there's going to be ups and downs during the game. I think the score is going to be in the 20s. So it's not going to be like a complete like Wild Wild West shootout, but it's not going to be like a 10-3 kind of game though either. I think the offense will score, but defense will have some moments. They both will have some moments. What's your takeaway on this game, Monty?
It's going to be a tough, gritty, hard hitting game from both sides. Man, you got Philly, who's probably the hottest team, playing the best football consistently all season. Uh, in the Super Bowl, you have KC, who's found ways to win some tough ones, and that's what a championship team does. I mean, so it's going to even out there. It's going to be. It could come down to the last team to have the ball, and that's what I'm hoping for. That kind of game, whether it's high scored or low scored. But man, Both of these teams have so many similarities. They can be explosive. Defenses are good. Philly might have the better one, but I expect a good, hard hitting, physical, tough game. I mean, you have Philly who may lose their offensive coordinator. Kellen Moore is the leading candidate for the New Orleans Saints job. You got Saquon Barkley, who's playing the Super Bowl on his birthday.
Yeah, we talked about that last show. Yep.
Ooh, so, man, a lot of motivating factors here that to see. And we'll go into our picks later, but I expect a good, hard fought. Whoever wins, it'll be a 7 point, no more than 7 points.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for too. Like we talked about in pregame, I watched a lot of sports shows yesterday that were obviously based in New Orleans because the Super Bowl's in New Orleans this year. They had a bunch of specials yesterday on Friday. 4 or 5 sports shows in a row, all talking about the Super Bowl, different ones that we know about. That are all famous. Yeah, the one thing they're all talking about though, I guess one theme I can come up with that everyone was kind of saying the same thing is, yeah, the most talented team being the Philadelphia Eagles, but you have the best head coach and the best quarterback being the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
So which one will prevail? Philadelphia Eagles got the team. They got Saquon Barkley, quarterback position. I mean, Jalen Hurts is decent, but he's kind of like a B plus quarterback, like they're saying. But obviously, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. He's A plus. But you have the best running back in Saquon Barkley with the Eagles. But the head coaching goes to not that Soriani or whatever his name is, the back coach. He's decent, but he's very early in his career. And you have the legend Andy
Yeah.
Reid.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Soriani is a good coach in his own right, but he hasn't been around the league like the way Andy Reid has with what he's done both
Yes.
in the NFC and the AFC. He won all of his Super Bowls in the AFC, obviously, with Kansas City, but he's been to multiple NFC championship games in the NFC with the Philadelphia. He was the Philadelphia Eagles coach at one point with Donovan McNabb and all those guys.
Right.
So he's a great coach. But he got all of his rings with Kansas City, the 3 he's got. So or he has, I should say. So yeah, it's interesting. Most people are picking KC, but there were a couple people out there, not many, but there were a couple people on these sports talk shows I was watching, like 3 or 4 in a row. They think there are a couple people that think that absolutely Philadelphia will dominate this game, the line of scrimmage, offensively and defensively. Like they're very physical. So there are a couple people that think that. I think this game is gonna be close, but there are a couple people that think that Philly's gonna run away with this game. I don't think they're gonna run away with it because the KC's got Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, but I see what they're saying. Like on paper, Philly is the best team, but one thing Tom Brady was saying is like you don't, in previous Super Bowls, even on some of his teams, like he's got to be the best team for that day. So which one's going to prevail? You can be the best team overall, but who's going to be the best team that day? So that's one thing that's interesting. We know Philly's the best team on paper, but the experience goes to the KC side
Yes.
is what I'm saying.
Easy.
So
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
so what do you?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about some things Tom Brady talked about in this show I watched with him and Colin Hurd. Like, I want to get your takeaways on this. He said a couple highlights I got from Tom Brady is he said experience won't win you the game, but experience helps you prepare for the game.
Well, how many Super Bowls has he been to? Well, he's won 7, been to 10, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
So
he's won
yeah.
7, been to 10. Half his career he's been in the Super Bowl.
So if anybody knows how to prepare for a Super Bowl, Tom Brady knows, and yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, been to that big game that many times, he knows how to prepare for it. So if anybody from either of those teams are listening, they might want to pay attention to that. Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, he says experience alone won't win you the game, but experience helps you prepare for the game mentally. That's
Yes.
what he said. Because the players are going to win you the game. What he was saying was the players are going to win you the game. I mean, experience helps in the game, obviously, with
Mhm.
not being too big for the moment. But I know what he meant by that, like saying like the players on the field are going to win you the game making plays, but experience helps you prepare, like the
Yes.
mental preparation before Super Bowl. Like been there, done that. Like helping a rookie out. Like that's where KC has a tremendous advantage. Yeah, you're like Xavier Worthy is a rookie wide receiver for
Yeah.
Texas, right? But you got guys like Mahomes and Kelsey saying, "Hey, just calm down, young fella. We got you.
Yeah.
Just, just follow our lead, man." You know, Philly does have that a little bit because I mean, Jalen Hurts and these guys have been there before. Jalen Hurts did play
Yes.
against Patrick Mahomes a couple years ago, but Saquon Barkley never been there, but he's been in the league for a while. But this is his first Super Bowl, so um, yeah, Tom Brady had a good takeaway on that. Another thing he said was he said film study, which is part of preparation. He film studied like a mofo. He said they knew what they're doing before they even did it.
Hmm.
Um, he was very cerebral. He said a lot of guys don't have that in today's game, but like the old guys like him, um, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, they're all really good at that.
Well,
Not saying
that's
that
what
guys
made.
aren't good at it today, but it's not quite as big of a thing. I think Patrick Mahomes does that maybe, but maybe some guys
Yeah.
don't because Patrick Mahomes has been around for a while, like several years. But he was saying he film studied like a mofo. Like he knew exactly what coverage and he knew exactly where he was going, like part of preparation. He recognized it like right away. They're doing this. I've seen this on film 1,000 times. I know what they're doing. So that was interesting too, part of the preparation side of things, like where he was very mental. Tom Brady knew the mental side of the game. He might have lacked physical ability, but he knew the mental side of the game very well.
Yes. And you touched on what I was about to say there. Not as physically gifted as Mahomes, but he got rid of that ball so quick, and yeah, he knew it was coming. He hit that hot route right away. Good communications with his receivers and tight ends and running backs, and it's all about preparation, man. Especially if you've worked that long. Uh, that's something that I'm starting to see with Mahomes now that he's been at this game so many times, and he's starting to understand that now. So yeah, I get it. And make up for that lack of talent that you have in other places by using your head, and you
Yeah,
can't beat that.
can't beat that at all. And you can't teach that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's still there's a certain things you can't teach. You got the physical ability, and there's some things you can't teach mentally, man. He had the
yeah.
mental side down pat. One interesting question Colin Hurd said about the Philadelphia Eagles defense. They have a lot of young rookies, like this DeJean guy from Iowa, who I like very much, and Blankenship is in a rookie, but he's like in his second year. But the Eagles defense is, I think, number one in NFL if I remember correctly, and the KC defense isn't too far behind. But like you mentioned, like KC, I mean, I'm sorry, the Eagles have probably the better defense, but KC's defense is no slouch themselves.
Mhm.
But Eagles were number one in defense all year long, and they have some couple of young guys. And DeJean changed their defense. He didn't start, I think, right away as the season, but as the season progressed, like he ended up becoming a starter. He
Mhm.
changed that defense, and he's also a very good punt returner guy. He did the same thing at Iowa. He ran back multiple kickoffs for touchdowns at the University of Iowa on special teams. Very athletic guy. Um, but getting to my point here, Colin Hurd asked the question: Is it like will this game be too big for the Philadelphia Eagles guys? And Tom Brady said no, because now with social media these days, he's like when I played in college, when we played in like when we were college age, yeah, that might have been a thing, but not with today's social media. Like you were saying something a couple weeks ago, like with Jaden Daniels being at LSU, like they played in front of bigger crowds and. The
Yeah.
social media is just different than what it was when we grew up, like 30 years ago, being in high school, college age. And like the moment probably isn't too big for these guys compared like
Yeah.
being like 20 years ago. The moment might have been too big, but Tom Brady does not think with today's social media and how these guys interact on social media and with college football being really big, getting bigger crowds than the NFL, with the exception of the Super Bowl, like he thinks the moment is not too big for the Philadelphia Eagles
No.
younger defensive guys. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I agree. And to me, once you make it this far as a rookie to the Super Bowl, you're not a rookie anymore. I mean, you played two big playoff games to get to this game, and it's just a matter of doing what got you there. Don't do anything different. Don't deviate from what got you there. Don't overthink it because that'll don't yeah yeah just do what got you there. So no, you're what you make this for. You're not a rookie anymore.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
yeah,
Yeah, there were some other things Tom Brady said, but those like 3 or 4 takeaways that I wrote down because he had a long interview with Colin Herbert. He said some interesting things, and you know, we know Tom Brady's in his first year as a Fox, sports analyst or whatever you want to call it, calling games.
yeah,
Um, he can improve, obviously, in that, but it is his first year. He reminds me in my new job now, where like you've got the experience from different things. You just got to put it all together and kind of be
yeah,
better as you go along. That's how I kind of see myself in my job currently. Like, I've got the experience in the Navy, got the QA things down, but I got to learn the facilitation side a little more. But I got the right tools to do it. It's just a matter of doing it, man. And I see Tom Brady as the same way. You've been a great quarterback for 20 plus years. You got 7 Super Bowl rings. You know the X's and O's. You're very cerebral, like we talked about him doing film study. It's just him getting used to calling games. So I think he'll probably continue to improve in that. It might have been
he'll get
debatable how well he did his first year, but it was just his first year, so
yeah,
can't be too hard on a guy. I wasn't crazy about him in the
yeah,
beginning, but he got better as the season progressed.
yeah,
Early
yeah. He
on,
did. Yeah,
yeah,
I was a little worried that first couple of weeks, but yeah, he's improved a lot.
yeah, he's improved. Yeah, he started calming down and kind of like, and he has his co-host, a guy that's used Burkhart, who's like
Yeah,
he's the one that's kind of like the head, like he's the TV guy, so he's like his
yeah,
leader, like just
yeah.
follow
He's
my
excellent.
lead.
Yeah,
Yeah, Burkhart's really good, so
yeah.
he has a good counterpart that kind of like, yeah, offset things and kind of make them relax and calm down. Um, so. Do you want to get into your props now? Like, what do you got for this Super Bowl, brother? You said you got some props,
Hmm.
man. Or is there
Let's
anything else we
see
can
here.
talk about before that?
No, I think we're good. Let's see. Man, they had over I don't know how many they've had, some crazy ones too, but I just picked some basic ones. I didn't want to go too nuts here. I'll go with the obvious first one. Who will score the first TD? My pen so I can
You're
write down
asking
the
me?
answer. Yes. And folks out
Who
there,
will score the first TD? I'm going with Kansas City, man. Can't go against Patrick Mahomes, man. It does
is
depend who
that
gets the
what player?
ball
What
first,
player?
huh? Oh, player,
Player,
you
sorry.
said. Player. Ooh, damn. Player. I'm gonna go with Travis Kelce.
Okay.
I think
All
Travis
right.
Kelce comes up big in big games. He's kind of had a sluggish year, but he's been coming along as the season went along, and he's known for big moments. It's either gonna be Travis or Saquon would be my second choice, but I'll go with Travis. It's one of the two, but I'll stick with my first choice, and if I'm wrong, so be it. But I'll go with Travis.
Okay. No, the way Saquon's been running, I think he's going to score first. So
He
I'm taking
could. It
Saquon
depends. Like it
Barkley.
depends on who gets the ball first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Folks, let us know. Who do you think? And if you have any other prop questions, like how many times they're going to show Taylor Swift,
Oh
stuff
my
like
God,
that.
that's one thing I wrote down like this like last year.
Yeah, I did. And I was like, no, we're not doing that this year.
Not 2 years in a
Okay.
row. She
Speaking of
doesn't-
Saquon Barkley, will
Huh?
Saquon Barkley have a run over 25 and a half yards? A run, one run.
Absolutely. He will get one at least, maybe two, but one for sure. Yes.
I say yes as well because it seems like he does that every game.
Yep. He's gonna have at least one, maybe two, but he will get one.
What was funny is when he was with the Giants, he'd have a 30-yard run and have the rest of it, he'll have like a 60-yard total. He'll have most of it in that one run.
Yep.
But when he's with the Giants, but he's been pretty consistent with
Yeah,
Florida
he's
this
been
year so
better
far.
throughout the whole entire game with the Eagles than he was with the Giants. You're right. He has multiple good runs. Yeah, not just one. Yep.
We haven't seen this happen in a while. Will there be a special teams or defensive touchdown? Yes or no?
I think there will be, yes.
You think there
Um,
will?
I think there will be. It's either going to be Cooper DeJean for the Eagles, or it's going to be one of the Eagles cornerbacks. The Eagles cornerbacks have been hot lately. Like
Yeah.
that one rookie didn't have any interceptions in the regular season, but he's had two in the playoffs. Not DeJean, but the other rookie they got. Can't think of his name, but Eagles fans, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He has potential. They still got Slay, Derek, Darius Slay, whatever his name is, like a veteran cornerback that might be able to do something like that. I would say the Eagles would do it more than KC would. Not that KC can't do it, but if there was some kind of touchdown with special teams, I'm saying the Eagles have the advantage in that.
Okay. I don't think there will be. I put no on that, but I think the most likely quarterback to throw a pick six out of the two would be Mahomes,
I
just
agree.
because of his style. Because of his style,
Yeah, because
he's
he
a
plays
gunslinger, and
shortstop. He plays
yeah,
shortstop.
and they tend to put the ball in harm's way more. So yeah, he's a gunslinger. He would be most likely to throw one, but I don't think there
Okay.
will be.
Okay.
Here's a fun one. Which team's going to win the coin toss?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Doesn't make a heads or tails. The visiting team always has the choice. Who's the visiting team? Is it the Eagles, I'm assuming?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't know either because the visiting team always has the choice. I know that for being a football official. Visitors always call the coin. Um, so it depends on like how well they pick. It's either honestly we know it's 50-50. That's one thing we know for sure. It's either heads or tails. I will say, damn. I'll say I don't know, man. I'll say the KC won it. KC wins it. KC will probably. I don't think. Will KC defer or want to get the ball first?
I think whoever wins the toss is going to defer.
I think that makes sense because
Whichever.
that's what I would choose
Yeah.
every single time. I always want to get the ball to the start of the second half, whether
Yeah.
it's tied, winning, losing. If
Yeah.
you're tied, you have a chance to take the lead. If you're losing, you have a chance to get closer to winning. Get catch up, and then the other option, just to add to your lead if you're winning already. So I always defer. I think it's crazy when they want to get the ball first. I know you have a hot offense and you want to score right away. I get that, but I always think that's a bad choice.
Yeah.
So I don't. I always prefer to defer every single time.
I have Philly winning the coin toss. I mean, it's just pick a team, but
Yeah, I could
that's
go
why I
either
have
way.
like,
Like I said, 50-50. You don't know, man. That's a funny one. That's a good one though.
yeah,
Like, yeah, that's just random.
yeah. I just thought, okay, that's a
I
fun one.
like
Go ahead.
that though. I like that though.
Here's one for you. Will both teams, the combined score now, will it be over 48 and a half? Over or under 48 and a half?
It'll be
Combined score.
over. It'll be over. I'm predicting 27-24. I think it's gonna be over.
Ooh.
I
I
think
said it
both
would be,
teams scored in mid 20s, if not 30. Like I said, it's not gonna be like a Wild Wild West, like you know, 38 to something or 40 something. But like I said, I think it's gonna be ups and downs and highs and lows during the game. You know, the offense is gonna have their moments where they're dominant, but there's gonna be some defensive moments where they're gonna force some 3-and-outs, maybe get a turnover, force some punts, force some field goals. You know, yeah, there's going to be back and forth action. I think it's going to be a really good Super Bowl, and I expect 27-24 or like 31-27, something like that.
okay.
I expect it to be a decent game.
Like I said before, I think it's going to be physical. It's going to be slightly under, like maybe a point under that 46, 47 point combined score. I
Yeah,
think it'll be slightly under because it's going to be a tough, hard
it is
fought.
going to be physical. Philadelphia is very physical. So is
Yeah,
KC, but
yeah,
Philadelphia probably has the advantage a little bit on that. That's why some people
yeah,
think
yeah.
they're going to
They're the more
dominate.
physical team, but yeah.
Yeah, they got
So I've
physicality
got
on
them
both sides of the
slightly under
ball.
that. Yeah, slightly under. I think this is a given. Well, I know your answer on this.
Huh.
Will Travis Kelsey score a touchdown? That's a yes
Yeah.
for you. Okay. I think so as well. I think so as well. He's just like another receiver. How about this? Will either kicker make a field goal over 50 yards?
I think KC has the advantage of that. KC field goal kicker Butker, whatever his dang name is, he will. Philadelphia Eagles have a good kicker himself, but he is very up and down. The old Dallas Cowboys kicker Elliott, which we know about him, like he's kind of dicey at times. He's good, but he has moments where he just completely spazzes out. So I think KC has a major advantage at the field goal kicker, and I think Bucker could absolutely make a 50-plus yard field goal. I'm not sure about the other guy. He's good, but like I say, he has moments where he just like loses himself and he can miss like three or four in a row. He loses his confidence. He just like completely becomes a spaz. So
Yeah.
I trust KC's kicker more than I do Philadelphia's.
I think we will see a 50-yard field goal made because there's so many good kickers in the league now. 50-yard field goals are practically easy.
Yeah, they've been making it real easy this year. Absolutely, that's been like the theme this year.
Here's a fun one. Will the national anthem go over 2 minutes?
Who's singing it?
I think he's from.
What?
I think he's a. I forgot who it is, but the singer is from New Orleans.
Over 2 minutes with him.
Over. Okay. I think he's going to go over as well.
If it's anyone from New Orleans, I expect him to go over 2 minutes. Then that's no disrespect intended. I said I just think that's your style. So
Yeah.
yeah, over 2 minutes if it's someone from New Orleans.
Okay. Two more. Which team will have the halftime lead?
Ooh, I think. God, that's a good question. It could be the Eagles, because KC has been known to be coming back in the fourth quarter all the damn time in the Super Bowl, so it could be the Eagles. Um, KC has a good comeback story every single time, especially against 49er fans. Sorry, they done it a couple times against those dudes. Um, uh, so I'll take the Eagles, but at the same time, I'll stick with the Eagles. But at the same time, I mean, KC could got the fast start, and the Eagles are playing from behind since KC has the more experience. But Eagles have the best team on paper. It just depends on how well Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts and the receivers play. So I got something for that later. Like Casey, I mean, Philly's offense can't be one dimensional. I know that. It can't be all Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts has to make some plays and the receivers.
Yeah. Okay. I think since KC is known to start off slow in these games, at least the first quarter,
Yeah.
I think Philly will be leading at halftime by a field goal.
Yeah.
I got Philly with a 3-point lead at halftime.
Yeah. That's what I was kind of saying in my own words, but you said it better. Yeah. Yeah. Casey has started off slow, and yeah,
Yeah.
they're a really good second half team. Like I was saying, like especially fourth quarter.
Okay. Last one. Who will win the Super Bowl and why?
Who will win the what?
Who's going to win the Super Bowl and why?
Ooh. I think I'll stick with me both of our original predictions. I won't be upset if Philly wins it, especially because of Saquon Barkley, who I love.
Yeah.
Um, I think Patrick Mahomes and company will get their fourth ring. I'm predicting KC. I don't think it's the refs, like a lot of people say. Everyone says refs this, refs that. I don't
No.
buy that one
No.
bit because
No.
you're
Me
telling
neither.
me every single game with different officiating crews in every single game that they had KC in their pocket. I don't think so. If they had the same crew multiple times and certain things happen with that crew, then it would be more believable. Because okay, they had the same crew 3 or 4 games and they did the same kind of things. Maybe that's suspicious, but they've had different crews every single game, so I don't buy that. I just think they're good at winning close games. They just haven't been as dominant this year as in years past. And people are picking with their heart and not their head when they're saying shit like that.
Yes.
Excuse my language, but that's the truth. Um, yeah, they're homers, so they're talking about their own home team. Like we would if it was a Cowboys versus KC game, we're probably saying the same thing. Um, so yeah, I got KC in a 27-24 game, close game, just like last time.
Oh, score. Okay. Okay. Uh, I'm picking KC to pull it out. They'll have got Patrick Mahomes driving down the field last drive. 2 minutes left. He hits Kelsey for the winning touchdown.
That's why I think KC will win it because Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback in his own right, but who do you trust the ball in your hands more at the end of the game, Hurts or
Yes.
Mahomes? I think the whole entire country is going to say Mahomes, and nothing against Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, but I think it's just Mahomes in the end of the game. So yeah,
Yeah. 26-20.
yep,
26-20 KC.
just under 47 or 48, like you said,
Yeah.
1 point under. Yeah, it's definitely going to be in the 20s. I think we both agree on that. It's just
Yeah.
how high in the 20s or maybe 30. So
Yeah.
yeah, it should be a really good game.
Yes. All right, folks. Tell us what you got.
I got a couple to add to it, if that's okay. I wrote
Sure.
I wrote a couple down myself, so I'll ask you. Will Saquon Barkley rush for over 100 yards?
Ooh, in the Super Bowl.
He's been over 100 yards plus in every single playoff game. One game he had 200 plus yards that we covered last show. So will he do it in the Super Bowl?
He's going to have just under that at 89. No.
Okay. All right. I think he will. I think he's gonna have one big enough run where he'll do it.
Okay.
I think KC is gonna stuff like this is Saquon Barkley. He'll get stuffed on several runs. He'll have several runs where he'll rush for like 4 or 5 yards plus, but then he's gonna have like 2 or 3 big runs to get him over 100, like 2 or 3 like 15, 20 plus yard gains to get him over 100. That's the running back's life, right? You have some good runs, okay runs, and then some bad runs, right? So,
Yes.
but Jalen Hurts needs to be able to throw the ball though, and that's my next question. They Philadelphia cannot be one dimensional just with Saquon. Jalen Hurts has got to be able to complete some balls to AJ Brown and Dallas Goedert and I always forget the Alabama's receiver's name, the second year guy, really good who I like.
AJ Brown. Oh gosh. His
What's
name slips my mind too.
I know I don't have my phone with me, though. I was going to look it up real quick. You know, everyone knows who we're talking about. Thin wide receiver, really, really fast, really good. I like him. Number 6, but gosh dang it. Anyways, here's my question: who will have more receiving yards, Travis Kelce or AJ Brown?
Well, Travis is like receiver as well, but AJ Brown's been coming on lately. I'm gonna go with AJ Brown.
Okay,
Okay. Devontae Smith, who you're talking about.
there we go. See, we knew we'd figure it out. I didn't have my phone,
Yeah.
but you did. Okay, so yeah, I'm picking AJ Brown too. Like he had 2 quiet playoff games, but the NFC Championship game he went off. I think, like I said before, repeat myself multiple times. He needs to get some completions. They need to get him involved in the game early. Like they need to get some early completions to him and all the receivers. You know, all 3 of them: Dallas Goedert, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith. They gotta get all of them involved and probably have an X factor receiver, like a 4th or 5th guy, get a catch or 2 here and there. But Jalen Hurts needs to complete some passes because if they just completely run the ball with Saquon Barkley, they're gonna stuff him. So
Yeah. Mhm.
what's that?
Oh, hold on. Keep talking. I'll be right back.
All right. So here's one other thing real quick while Monty comes back. He said he wouldn't mention Taylor Swift, but uh I'll mention it. How many times is Taylor Swift gonna be shown?
All right,
That's the
folks.
question. I asked the Taylor Swift question when we were gone. I said I couldn't help myself. How many times are they gonna show Taylor Swift in this game? 4 or under. I couldn't help myself. Sorry, we're repeating last year.
Ooh, I think it's gonna be over. Over.
I know we weren't gonna do that, but I couldn't help myself.
Over. Oh yeah, yeah. Over. Easy over 4.
Okay, there's one thing we forgot to talk about, man. I can't believe I almost forgot this, man. The halftime performance. I mentioned in like the show, I did a quick like little live show for like 15 minutes yesterday. Kendrick Lamar, what do you think about him doing the halftime show?
I'm okay with it. I like Kendrick Lamar. I'm surprised that they didn't choose Lil Wayne. He's from New Orleans.
Yeah, that is
So
surprising. Good
I
point.
I hope he's there as one of the performers with him. I know it's
I
Kendrick
think he will
Lamar
be.
and
That's a good point. I think he's going to be in there somehow, some way, since you said
yeah,
that. Yeah.
it'll be Kendrick Lamar and SZA. She's a good singer slash rapper. So yeah, I'm okay with it. I expected Lil Wayne. I'm surprised they didn't choose him, but that's okay.
Yeah, I like Kendrick Lamar. I can't remember all his songs, but I know some of his hits that are very familiar to all
Yeah,
of us. Just can't think of the names, but I know him. Um, I know there's a lot of beef with him and Drake over the last couple of years. And they used to be like really good friends. Now like they're like worst enemies, but that's some interesting stuff. So, do you think he's gonna mention something about Drake on his halftime show? Like throw it out there, like kind of like
uh,
like you know,
shoot, he might. I don't see it. No.
yeah. If he does that, I think that's really bad taste. Like, why would you
Yeah,
do that in the Super Bowl show? Like to throw
yeah,
some
yeah,
to do that, because that might
yeah.
make him look really
Understood.
bad. I don't think he will, but I think that I know they've been feuding for a while. I don't know much about the situation, but I just know they were really good friends at one point, and now they're Drake has some kind of lawsuit on him for something that he said. So,
Yeah,
and they were like best friends. I don't know about best friends, but they're pretty dang good friends, and now like they're like bitter enemies, which is kind of
yeah.
crazy. So, there's a lot going on with those guys, and isn't there like a third or fourth party involved? Like there's like three or four of them involved in this like this whole like little spat.
I'm not too much. I don't know. There might be. I'm not. I just know those two.
Yeah, that's interesting. Drake is
Mhm.
kind of a shit talker, in my opinion. I don't know much about him, but he is pretty mouthy. I know that. Because even when he goes to Toronto Raptors games, he gets into it with the other team's players. I've seen that multiple times. Like he's got sideline seats and he's talking shit to some other opposing team's
Mhm.
player. I know he
Oh yeah.
does that. So not saying he does anything wrong, but that is interesting that I see from his personality. Yeah, he kind of he has his emotions on his sleeve and maybe he kind of comes across a little bit self entitled to me at times. But I don't know much about Kendrick Lamar. But I think Drake has like the bigger mouth, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Um, so, anyways, we got any other spoilers for the Super Bowl before we close? We got anything else that we can think of before we close the show out today?
I'm good. I would like to hear what the other folks out there have. Um, see what we got, and hopefully this is a classic Super Bowl.
Yeah, I hope it's we're. I hope I agree, Monty. I hope it's as good as we're making it out to be. We know how good it was last year, so hopefully, like we don't like anticipate a really good Super Bowl. Then there's this huge letdown. I don't think so. I think it's going to be good. Hopefully it's exciting for the fans, especially just as sports fans in general. Since a lot of people don't have teams in the fight here, you just want to see a good game when your home team isn't playing, and like your number one team. So people just want to
Mhm.
see a good show, like good play all the way around, an exciting game, and I think we'll get that. And I think Kendrick Lamar will perform well at the Super Bowl to make it even more exciting. That'll be
Yeah,
sometimes like Dave said last show. Dave doesn't pay attention to singers. When we asked Dave last year, he said that's when he goes to get food. He can care
yeah,
less. When he said that, that was pretty funny. But it's true. Some people will use the halftime to go take their bathroom
yeah.
breaks, go get food, and they can care less about whoever the halftime performer is. But I like watching the halftime show, so I'll be interested.
That'll be interesting.
I'll be interested to see what Kendrick Lamar does, but I know he's a good performer. I think he'll do well. And
Yeah.
hopefully he puts Lil Wayne in there, like you said. But I think he will, since you mentioned that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Help get our views up. We were doing really good on views for a while. We kind of been lacking lately, so hopefully we can get them back up. So help us improve this show.
Yes. Any ideas? We welcome it.
Any ideas we welcome openly. Let us know good and bad comments how we can improve and just like what your thoughts are on the game, what your thoughts are on anything we covered during this show. with the NBA and Luka Doncic and the MVP. Do you think someone else should have won the MVP besides Josh Allen? Let us know your thoughts on that. So that's really all I got, man. But it's another good show. So I don't know what our next show will be. Maybe March. We do want to do a post game Super Bowl show or
Yeah,
March
we'll do a
Madness.
post and then March Madness.
So that's it, folks. We'll do a post game Super Bowl show. Then to that it'll be March Madness. How we started this show 2 years ago in 2023 March Madness. So this will be our third time cover March Madness for 2025, which is always a good time. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Peace
All
out.
right. Thank you, guys.
Have a good
Appreciate
weekend.
it.